Hello again. As promised, I have promised to come back and do one last edit for family photos or photos I edited earlier. Let me get you the thumbnail for that edit. Edit like a pro with Stanley Mitch. Yeah, this. Oh my goodness, it went to the wrong place. Let me save this and delete it, then add the right one. Yes, earlier on we did these edits from a certain set of images. They were 8 images. That link to that video, if you want to know how we achieved all this, it is in the description. We made it available for all of us to go there and learn. But for now, we are going to do the rest of the bunch, the ones that the mother shot with the baby. So this one will be the family photo shoot, the family part of that photo shoot. So let's begin. We'll begin by importing the images. Earlier on, someone asked me a question in my WhatsApp and asked me whether there is a way to batch process, apply the same settings you had done to the other images. I'm going to do that in this one. I'm going to do that, I promise. Now, I'll do the first settings of whatever thing I want us to do. So I'll make the adjustments. I think the highlights are too bright. You can almost see that the highlights are too bright, right? So you bring those down, you bring the whites down. It's too warm, so we make it a little cold so that blacks look black, and then we bring blacks down slightly, raise the shadows, open up the shadows, drop the contrast so that it's not very contrasty. A little dehaze, a little more vibrance. Now the colors look vibrant, and then I'll open that image as object. But before I do that, I need to also say that I'm editing this image. If you click down here, you'll see that I'm editing that image in Profoto RGB. It's a bigger color gamut, 16-bit color depth, and then I'm sharpening it for screen high, and that results to the kind of results you saw. I'm not saying that if you shot a blurred image, Photoshop will export it as sharp. No, that's not what I'm saying. But I'm also saying that if you exported it sharpened for web, you should have some level of sharpness like this. You see how clean such image is, yet it's all zoomed in. That's what I'm doing. So, but when I'm exporting it, ultimately, I'm going to export it as sRGB so that it doesn't change its colors when it's being uploaded to various sites. The other part that is very important in this area is to ensure that you have toggled open as smart objects right away, so that here, if you check this area, when I toggle that on, it goes from open image to open object. Then I press OK, then I open my image. Someone is asking for this link, so get me a minute. I need to copy the link for him so that he can come and watch and learn. He wanted to know how to I'm explaining what you're asking. Yeah, you can also take my number and ask the questions in my WhatsApp. I'll also answer you. Right. I'm done with that. So I'll import the next image, which is 8698. I've done this a number of times, but just for the sake of proper lessons, and assuming that someone is watching this video as their first video in my channel, so we learn together. 8698. So if you've been here before and you think I'm repeating myself, it's because some people are watching this video for the first time and I don't want them to be left behind. I open it now. I want to apply the previous settings without adjusting anything now. So I'll just click this part here, go to previous conversation, like that. If you're using any newer version of a Camera Raw, instead of previous conversation, it will say apply previous settings. And there are like 3 dots where you click and that happens. Let's make one more adjustment so that it's a little more white and slightly more magenta-ish, like that. Then we open the image. Now the other part where we are going to edit, we are going to import now 4 images at once and apply a setting all together. So let me get the screenshot that has those other images. They should be somewhere in the 86 something. The first one is 8672. Let me just drag a set of images that will make it easy for you to learn, and then I'll export them because it's not necessary for that I edit them. So let me sort them out by row type, row, and then I import like 5 of those images or 6, and then drag and drop them in this section of Photoshop. Now you see all the images are here, right? So what I can do is select them all, Control A, that selects them all, then go to my previous settings like that, and that one setting is applied to all those images, as you can see. Right. If I wanted to do all of them together, then someone else will wonder, do I have to also open them in Photoshop? No, you can save them from right here within these settings. You can go to save images. Let's look for that setting. Man, I can't find it. Allah. The last time I saw it, it was in yeah, it's here. I used Camera Raw 17.1. It was, you'd like right click a photo and it would come here, but now it's here, save images. You click save, it will bring you a window, and then you select the destination folder and all the file extension if you want them to save as JPEG and all, and then you save. You see? And just like that, you have batch processed images. Just ensure that when you're shooting, you shoot all your images within the same setting, same lighting conditions, so that one setting adjusts all your images uniformly. For now, I'll press done. Right. Then I'll go get the rest of the images. I'll import all of them, including the ones she's in alone, and then I'll separate those ones for another time, and then we will do the rest today. We'll do the family ones today. So let's see. 9029. That's her alone. All the 90s are her alone. 89. 89, 49, 89, 49 is still alone. 89, 38 is still her alone. 90, that's all the 90s is her alone. 89, 89, 89, 89, 86, 90, 86, found it. We import that image. Again, we shall apply previous settings like that, and then we go to 86, 72. Again, open it. I'm opening the raw version. I shoot both raw and JPEGs for reasons I've explained before. And then apply previous settings. I'll raise shadow slightly, open them up, and then open the image. Is there another 18 something? 87, 64. Let's see what is there. 87, 64. Yes, it's also the two of them. Then I'll also open that one, and then apply previous settings. The reason I'm not doing the batch processing is because one, they are not listed somewhere together. I could drag them in a folder and then drag them here and open them once. I could do that, but again, this is not like an event. If it was an event, I would process them once. These ones are few. I cannot be too lazy to want to batch process 10 images. 10 images are not too many for me to find it difficult to 87, 83, to find it very difficult for me to process each image. That would be so lazy of me if I could not process each image independently. So we'll try apply previous settings. They look just fine, except that the reds are oversaturated, or rather over luminous. So we are going to calibration, and somewhere within the reds we'll drop the luminosity of reds and maybe desaturate the reds slightly like that. Then saturate the oranges some more and increase their luminosity slightly. Done. Every time you import an image, it might require a little adjustment to the taste of your eyes. That is 87, 83, the other one is 88, 91, 88, 91, 88, 91. Right, that marks the end of photos of them together. Open previous conversations. Right, looks just fine. I'll open up the shadow slightly and then open it. I'll scroll through those images to see whether there is one that her feet, head and hand are not cut, cropped from the image, and if there are some. She looks sweet, in case you're wondering. That sweet. She has the kind of body you all guys want. In case you're looking for a model, you can talk to me. I can talk to her. Sadly, there is no other that has that hand stretched that doesn't have it cropped, but we have one that the head is not cropped, so you're going to adjust that, just the head area, and leave the rest the way it is. So you open up this one. We try our best to give the client the photo they chose, even when it has errors, and then we try to correct those errors first before we can do everything else. But when it's impossible, then we agree. So we'll copy this and drag and drop it in this one, then align it. Let's fit it, then align the one below so that the hair matches. We are going to align the hair. We try to make the least crop. Yes, now that matches. Let's try color balance it so that this green and the other matches just fine. Color balance it. Need a little more green, but it's too bright. Just try to get the color of the background right, nothing much. Someone might wonder, how do I know which slider to move? Sometimes I don't. Sometimes I just move sliders forward and back and I see what it's doing, and then the one that is taking me close to where I'm going, I settle for it always. Now this is turning the color of the hair. So I'll come with a mask and take it away from the hair. Mostly you take a photo to see the exposure and then you later reframe, but you know clients, they'll always pick that one, the one you took with one light off. Some lights did not even fire. They say, I like how dark that one is, yet it's terrible. You try raise its levels, the amount of noise, the grain in that image is horrendous, but they are happy with the image. So this is what I am doing, is damage control. After a mistake is already done, now we try to control that damage from the end, from the editing end, or rather I call it the editing desk. Right. Yes, certainly I do not have that hand looking well. I'll export that image and ask ChatGPT to create me the hand. I don't want to leave it out of. And then I'll bring it back as I continue. I'm here to train you how, what I do all the time when I want, when I really want something done, but the client picked a photo I wouldn't recommend, but again I don't want to change it for them and take them for fools, tell them, oh, you selected that one, and they are displeased. I'm trying my best to give them the very same image, but now with the excellence of a photographer that I am. So I'll export that image and then go to ChatGPT. I'm sure it's open somewhere. ChatGPT is an AI I always visit. I was creating something there. It's not important now. So let me drag and drop that image. And say, recreate this exact image filling in the part of the hand that is cropped out the part of the hand and the feet, part of the hand and the feet that are cropped out, Now I'll wait for Photoshop to do its thing. No, not, did I say Photoshop? ChatGPT to create the image. Even the word recreate is poorly spelled. You cannot poorly misspell. That it is poor, it means it's a misspell. Oh my goodness, just a minute.
Stanley Mitch will teach you how to steal the show. From beginners to the masters, watch your skills grow.
Mitch, you're doing the waiting game. Maybe as we wait for that to happen, I'll be watching it from the other screen. We should be editing another image, right? Because there are many other images to edit here. So let's do them all. Order of business, copy, rasterize layer. I want to first take away all these spots using the spot healing brush tool. So I'm going to click them out, click them away. If anything is long, I'm going to paint instead of just one click. And I'll also zoom into their skins and see whether there is an acne, a black spot, a pimple, or anything of such, even on either on them or on their clothes that needs clicking away. A part like this, I can either paint it or patch it. So I'm going to use patch. And patch it up. I'm saying that this is the area I don't want, and I want you to resample the area above and recreate me that background. Now this photo is poorly shot. When I say poorly, I mean the frame. The frame is not the crop is wrong because they are tending towards the end of the frame, and even that is not their looking room. So I'll push it back to reframe it, and then I'll fill the area in front of them. 90% of my images, the subject is dead center. I find that to be a way to make for a very strong image. Like every time you look at a photo, if there's nothing else happening, or they're looking to the left or pointing something, where else are they on the side? Why? What are you leaving the space for? You're not writing a text to the left or anything, so why are we creating space? And the lack of the answer for that question is the one that makes me keep them at the dead center. So most of my photos are such that the subject is monotonously filling the frame for the most part. Like it's the largest part, the subject is the largest part of the frame, and is usually at the dead center of that frame. Oh my goodness, ChatGPT made a monster with more than one hand with broken feet. You can see this one so twisted now. Such a waste of time. Okay, fine, let's continue. Seemingly we are not going to solve that problem. Oh, we might have a photo that has feet maybe in that list. So we are going to cross check and see whether we can find one that those feet are not cropped. Then we are going to bring it in, because ChatGPT has failed. People say the AI is going to replace us. It can't. It can't even recreate a foot. Yeah, it has its own strengths and weaknesses, and also it cannot create anything until we put a prompt. It doesn't know what to do. We can only tell it what to do. You see, it needs us, because everything is trying to emulate humans. We are the humans. At least if you do not value yourself that much, just know that the humans that everything needs to operate, everything including all the appliances in your house, you are that human. I'll take a screenshot, Control Shift Alt E, then fill this part of the background with content aware fill at 100% opacity, then wait for it to do its thing. In the meantime, I'll go get the background for the design I want to do. I have very many backgrounds. Today we are going to use this one. We've never used it in all our edits. We said to make a good background composition, we just change the blend mode into one of the three: multiply, overlay, or soft light, the one that merges the two better. So in this case, soft light does. We leave it closed for now because we need to make a selection of the background. Select color range and then sample that color, and then ensure that you are using sampled colors, and then we paint through or lather, click in those other areas that it's not selected. If an area is black, it's not selected. We want it selected best around the subject. Anything else outside where the subject is, we can deal with it through using other means. We can even just paint that out. So this part where the subject is the most important. Now we load a solid color. Let's pick something strong like green. Then we come with brush and paint those areas I said we would paint them in, using white and 100% opacity, 100% opacity, 100% flow, 100% flow, 100% opacity. And then I just paint in that color in those areas. I'm going to zoom in to see if it has made any other errors that I might need to adjust for, like it left a space here. So I'll be toggling between black and white to paint in some areas and paint out from certain areas if necessary, or rather where necessary. The mask looks good for the most part. I'm going to fill in these parts. There are a few drops here and there that could be improved with just one brush stroke. Yawning, it must be sleeping time. But still, we are going to work out a number of images. Nothing is going to stop us. Yes, I'm going to invert that selection to see. Yeah, there's an area here that I need to take away from the background. If you do in and then out, you can hardly make mistakes. To invert that selection, you just click it and on your keyboard press Ctrl and I, or double click it and click invert here. It does the same thing. Yes, now it's clean. I'll load that selection by holding down on Ctrl and double clicking the mask, and then go to my actions and play the Brian Umo background cleanup with an expansion of 1. You're going to use that selection very many times, trust me. Now we put on the background we added and then put it in a group. Copy that mask, holding down on Alt and dragging the mask up like that, and then we want the inverse of that, so we double click and invert, or on your keyboard Ctrl and I, like that. I used to say Ctrl plus I. I noticed someone might be tempted to press plus, so if I say and I, there's no button called and, so that sorted the problem, because proper communication is key. Yeah, I like what it looks like. I'll lower its opacity slightly, and then I'll add a hard line there. So let's add a mask, and then using gradient, push it up like that, and then put a line here. Select a box using the rectangular marquee tool, and then on top of it add a highlight using curves. I want to make it look like a background that falls in, and then feather that mask so that it looks like a very gradual turn, like a background that comes in. Let's see whether when it's dark, it falls dark and then bright, it looks distant. Yes, when it's dark, it looks distant. So let's feather it further. Because we want a wall to be different from the floor. Now we zoom in to the subject, then see whether there is anything to click away. You might think that the only way to solve this is to click them away, and it is a way you could use by clicking them away. But then there is another quick way of doing it. You could take a copy. Let's make a copy of that. Then we go to filter noise, dust and scratches, and then I have the figures that solves that, but let's start from scratch just so that you can learn. I'll begin by keeping this at around 20, the threshold, and then I'll raise the radius until those black white dots disappear, like that. I'll take it up slightly, then I'll bring down the threshold slightly, or take it up until I want to have the texture. If I take it up too high, the noise will come back. So a part where the texture is there, but those dusts, white dots, speckles of dusts are not there. So 20 was a good figure. And then I press OK. Then put hold down on Alt, click mask, so you have a negative mask. Then I'll use my brush, load this mask again, double click it while holding down on Control, and use it now to paint here using a white brush. I'll leave this list area because there is nothing I'm sorting out there. I'll only paint in this area where the dress is, and where there is contact between the dress and something like the baby's feet. I'll try avoid that unless it's an area where the baby's socks also have that problem. Yeah, in these tutorials you also learn quick tricks that get the job done. Maybe in one of these other tutorials we should do how to iron clothes with Photoshop. Yes, I think the one we do tomorrow has silk material that is very wrinkled. We could learn a thing or two there about ironing clothes in Photoshop. Or maybe we use the word straightening, but ironing sounds sweet because everybody knows what it is to iron. I'll also try, after I've done making the number of lives I need to make, maybe 100, because I'm at 60 something now within the last 1 month and 2 weeks. 1 month, 1 week. I'm at 65 streams. When I make 100, from there I'll begin to make short clips of some of these tips and tricks. Now you can see what it's doing. It's taking away all those dust and scratches. Now we go back to, or let's merge it down so that it's easier. Merge it down so that we have just one last layer, and then we make a copy of it, and using spot healing brush tool we begin to click away some parts of the skin that we feel have inconsistencies that can be taken away using the spot healing brush tool. The next step after this is whitening the teeth. I'm going to release a video on whitening white shoes, or rather cleaning white shoes in Photoshop. I'm already processing it. I've also gotten the proper photo for that tutorial, so hang around for it. Right, I'm clicking out a few. I don't want this wet mouth the baby has, so we are going to make it dry. So we make another copy just in case we make a mistake. And then what makes anything wet is these highlights you can see, so we are going to take those away, and you realize that the mouth stops being very wet, of course, and this saliva down there, so worry not, you're going to deal with that also. It's too hard, the brush is too hard. It's leaving very hard edges, I noticed. Then I merge it down because now that is done very well. Sorry, I clipped it. You see, now that part is done. I merge it down, then make another copy. I could use Ctrl J, but because of this selection it will copy the wrong thing, so I just want a copy of the whole layer. Then I want to deal with this part, so I'll select that part. Let's select from here, then use the clone tool and clone another part and fill that part. So new empty layer, clone tool, current and below, ensure here it's current and below, and then click an area around the area you want to replace it with, and come in and paint in small parts will do the most. Then from this shadow I'll want to drag it in. Let's create a new layer for the shadow so that we can extend it anyhow we like it. Edit like a pro with Stanley Mitch. Now this shadow needs to go up That's why I created a new layer. So I'll deselect, Control D, D for deselect, and then T, Control T for transform, then warp, and then I'll push this shadow up. Edit like a pro. What's happening? It is correct, but why is it moving? Again, Control T, warp. Yes, now it's taking the corner it should. With Stanley Mitch. When I pull this down, it widens. Let me zoom in. You'll see what happens. It widens. Still, like, saliva is bad on kids, but I'm Stanley Mitch. I edit everything and make it perfect. The part is dark, so let's try use other means. There, that luminosity does the most. Now there is a part that I need to mask out, so I'll put a mask with a brush that is very soft with 0 hardness. I'll paint out a part down here, just like that. Let me see. Yeah, then I'll merge those 3 layers, selecting them, then pressing Ctrl E, and then I'll use patch tool, pick this area, this one that looks like it's bulgy, and drag it to another area that I would like it to sample, so that it has familiar texture to the texture of the skin around that area. Yeah, should do another tutorial called how to clean up saliva around a baby's mouth. I have a lot of things to do. I will. Now you see, I can sorted anything. So the baby goes from very wet to clean. Yeah, this is why people pick me. They could also pick you if you add this to... one person cannot serve everyone, so it will be a very great addition if you add this to your work. Clients will also, you'll be the highly sorted after in your area, because if you refuse, then they will travel and come find me. Now that I'm online, it's just a matter of time, then they'll realize that someone else is doing more than you keep doing for them, and there is no healing from that. So before that happens, learn from me and implement these things. A color lookup table. I want something to make the skin glow the way it's glowing now. You see, it brightens up big time, but it's not good on reds or the dress. So we just need it on skin. So we are going to invert it, load the mask, and then paint it back. We said to load the mask, you press down on Control and double click the mask, and then paint it back on the skin area alone. Edit like a pro with Stanley Mitch. I need it just on skin because it's great for skin, but it's never great for many other colors, but it does very well for oranges. That vintage color lookup is teal orange, so teal changes the color of many things. It has a lot of brown in it, so it also makes blue and black look magenta-ish. and is undesirable, but it's very good for skin. We'll feather it up a little so that it blends better. The feet will also require that. This crop is very wrong. We are going to adjust it. The cropping is ugly. Why would you crop from there? What kind of brain was I using? Right. We'll reduce its opacity slightly, like that. Then let's recrop this one to 5:9 so that it's shorter. Like that. Now that's a proper crop. Sometimes you wonder what's wrong with me. I make a mistake knowing it's a mistake, and I still stay there within the mistake area. So the branding, I think it should be somewhere within the other photos we've already edited. This photo is done, except that we are going to check whether the skin requires softening. Sorry, let's deselect, let's uncheck auto select. That's why it's pushing the wrong things, so that it can only move the only thing we want moved. We are here just to see that the skin is beautifully consistent. Now I have noticed that we said we were going to whiten the teeth and we didn't. So let's do that. We're just going to take away the yellowness. That's the only thing we are here to do. Click that yellow using this hand and push the lightness up. Then inverse it. Come with a brush, small to the size of the tooth, and paint it one tooth at a time. Not all of them at once, just one tooth at a time. I've already explained in many other live streams what that does. I don't like the blues in the eyes, so we're going to create a whole new other hue and saturation. Sample that blue, which is cyan also. Take it up because I want the eyes to be quite clean from any contamination, like that. Very well. Let's smoothen the skin slightly, but before that, it is too yellow. Let's address that. We go to selective color, yellows, push back the yellows in the yellow, and then go to reds, bring back the yellow with hue away, and add some magenta to it. The skin will begin to look closer to human skin tones than anything. Then from there, we're going to take a screenshot of everything right at the top. Control Shift Alt and E, and then run the Shazam auto retouch action, mostly in my images and the resolution of my camera, which is a Nikon D7200, around 27 to 30 radius for smoothening is always great, and then 0.3 to 0.9 for texture always works, but I have to like do it practically for every single image and stop when it looks great. Like this is too much texture, so I'll bring it down. Yeah, 0.7 looks nice. Take it out of everything. Then I'll use blend if. Take it from the dark areas of the underlying layer. So I'll hold on Alt, click once and drag it. Say leave my shadows. That's what it says. Leave my shadows, sampling from the image below. And also do it from the top and say leave my highlights alone. Then negative mask. When holding down on Alt, click mask, and then come with a brush that is about 20% opacity, so that you can brush 5 times to get 100, and then paint in the areas you want to see that softness. If you realize I'm passing a place and stroking twice, is because I realized that that area would benefit from more than one stroke of that retouch action. Hizi ni maongezo tu, it's not a very necessary step depending on which client you're serving and what your brand stands for. Recently somebody told me that some of my images are very smooth and the clients look too soft, almost AI, but some clients love that. If you have clients that do not require this step, just keep it. Send them their photos the way they love them. The client is king. He's the one, she's the one that pays. I'm about to say he is. I realize that it is always his money, but he's never the one that pays you. Yes, men don't even take more than 2 photos in a studio. Even if they bring the whole family, they'll take just 1 photo, but they'll pay for 14. How much, that is how much value we have lacked for ourselves. The best thing we can buy ourselves is alcohol. When it comes to abuse, we're abusing our bodies with millions of money. But when it comes to treating ourselves well, saving money for our lives, we better give it to other random people to spend it. And we find a sense of pride in that. Quite stupid. Right, if you ask me. The image is ready. I reduced that opacity to about 70 so that I will not have overdone it, so that it's there, not too much of it. Then I'll export that image and move to the next one. We'll do the one we skipped earlier, the one that ChatGPT created a monster from. Done. So let's finish with this. We're going to use select subject. Just pick quick select and click select subject. If you're using a newer version of Photoshop, it will do a better job, especially if you select from cloud. But remember that it also uploads your photo to the clouds for processing, which takes away your privacy if you have privacy concerns. Maybe you are editing your client's nudes and you have signed a contract that they shouldn't surface anywhere online in your accounts or on your name. So then you'll have to try and do it manually like I am. Also, if you're using an old version of Photoshop like I am, this is Photoshop 2020, it runs smoothly. It's very stable in my Core i7 7th gen desktop. Let's use green again. I like green because it's luminous. I can easily see where mistakes are. I'll use white, selecting the mask, making sure everything is 100, flow is 100, opacity is 100, hardness is 100, and then paint in these areas that select subject left out. I'll also invert and paint out the areas that it might have included by mistake or didn't know that they were supposed to be excluded. That's what I'm calling mistake. This area here, the shoulder, I keep switching off momentarily to see what is happening so that I can make better judgment of what Photoshop failed to judge as a software. Maybe there are better AIs. I've tried Evoto recently. That software is quite good. I'll make a video testing its retouch, liquify. They have liquify on a slider. You just slide and the waist thins or thickens. Maybe the word there is reduces, not thins. We should try that sometime. But most of those AI based softwares also have a cost to them. You cannot even find a Captain Jack Sparrow version for it, in case you are starting and you're just an enthusiast, not using it for commercial purposes, and maybe you just want to sample it and see whether it's for you or not. So I'm just going through the image part by part, checking what is left out that is necessary to include. You realize that some parts of the dress that are attached are, but I'm leaving them out because that is just it's just the contamination of a color. It's not a problem that we'll have to deal with either now or later, and you will see it that it's not a problem. How I know it's not a problem? Practice. I've done it long enough to know what is a problem and what is not. Also, the more you edit, remember the way your mathematics teacher used to say, solve 3 mathematical equations a day and you'll become great at mathematics. I'd also say the same about Photoshop. Edit photos regularly. I might not say 3 photos a day, because some of us edit over 10 images a day. Not by choice really, because of business. But even if you're just learning and you don't have as many clients, try edit as much and as more regularly as you can. That's how you become great at these things. If you cannot even paint the way I'm painting with a mouse because your hands are shaky, or suddenly you make a mistake like that, it's lack of practice. The more you practice, the more you learn how to control your hand. You'll be doing things and people will be looking at you and wonder, just how do you execute that? But it's practice, man. Practice. And different people will get to those excellent levels at different speeds. So again, if you start with someone, or rather I'm teaching both you and your friend gets there sooner than you, just know that your time is coming. Also, if you get there before your friend, it's just because we do not learn at the same speed. It takes some people longer to get there, but the essence is that we finally get there. I pressed Control I to inverse that selection so that I can see parts that were included that shouldn't be. Then I'll take them away using black. Parts like this require taking out them away. Let's paint it with, we are painting it green with white, sorry, my apologies, because we want the green to select all those areas. It's the green that is representing the selection. So you keep practicing. It makes it perfect. And perfect here is you'll begin to achieve your dreams better. You may not edit like me at the end of the day ever, because I'll also never edit like you. But of essence is that both of us will deliver something pleasant to our clients. That's why they pick us. Always remember, they pick us because they hope that we can give them something better than the iPhone 16. Especially women nowadays have iPhone 16 because men have nothing better to do with their money but buy women iPhone 16s. pros. The kind of simps we have in this world. Someone mulisoma na yeye, you both went to the school, you both were educated. Just someone, because someone has a pretty face, now they are beginning to deserve your 200,000. This is not a rant against men spending money on women. It's better that's how they get money to come for photo shoots. So thanks to men who give their women money for photo shoots. But what was I saying? That clients come to you hoping that even if that you can offer them better quality of a headshot than their ring light in a house, because nowadays almost every woman has a ring light in their bedroom. They say ring light in their bedroom, and an iPhone that you still can offer a better headshot than their ring light and iPhone can. Then you are failing yourself, because she's already trusted your capacity to offer better. That's why she came. She hopes you can direct her better, because her iPhone cannot tell her how to pose. She hopes that you have better lighting. She hopes that you'll be doing the heavy lifting. So that's why she left the photos for editing, so that you can do things to help her not use her filters. But even then, they might still use their filters no matter how hard you edit. But just be sure to have deselect, be sure to have edited, to have made all the edits necessary, so that if they add any filter, it's just because they are accustomed to it, not because your photos are wanting or needful. And also you did it to the capacity, to the best of your capacity. Maybe that's a good way of putting it. All these parts were included with the selection, and they should have been left out. Told you, we are better than AI. Yes, that makes for a good selection. The green is not supposed to replace the background, though I know we could change it to color and it will make the background green, but that's not what you're going for. Just want to load that selection while holding down on control, inverse it because we need the inverse of it, and then run the Brian Umos background cleanup action with an expansion of 1. Whatever will be left out by the background cleanup, we are going to come back and clean it up ourselves. At around 150, 170, I think it does a good job. 200. Let's leave it at 200. We're going to load that selection again. Let's first inverse it, then load it. We do the blurring again. We run the action again. This time around we pick different values for blur so that it blurs very well around the subject. Oh my goodness, did it the reverse. My apologies. Let's play the action. Done. Some of you will wonder, why is she floating? once we add something to that background, it will be just perfect. So we are going to select this part because you're going to fill it in with content aware fill. It's done. Then I merge it down, and down let's select 3 of those layers and merge all of them, because now whatever I needed done is done. So make a copy and load this selection, inverse it. Need to deal with something around her shoulder. There's a part that has a tape, so we are going to clone a part right around her and paste that there. Now we merge that one too, selecting both Control plus E or just merge down. Then we are going to look for a background for that floor. I remember there was one I downloaded recently. Let's see whether I can find it. It's somewhere within the snoot effects. I just want to try see whether it will fit in. It's very small, the quality is very low, but we shall extend it and see. Very nice. And then I'll blend it using multiply, put it in a group, and then drag and drop the mask while holding down on Alt and then Control I, because you want the inverse of that while selecting the mask. Control I. You see the resolution is very poor, right? We'll just deal with that by softening it, by blurring it to a number like, for this 31 works. I think I need to change this blend mode to something like overlay. It's too bright, so let's keep it at multiply. On top of everything, close the group. We are going to add the color lookup table V6. We use this one in almost every edit we do. It's very good for skin. We don't want it on the reds. I don't know whether if we remove it from these reds it will do what it's supposed to do. No, it doesn't, sadly. So we will have to select those reds. So select color range, reds, then sample more reds around her body, sample reds on his shortened jersey, and then delete the mask and add this one, then inverse that mask because we need the opposite, and then feather it up. Right, the photo looks gorgeous. I'm zooming in to see whether there is anything to click away from their skin. a pimple, acne, a mark, maybe a baby fell and they have a mark on their forehead, a pimple, a black spot. This is the nipple, we cannot take that away. We like those ones. They are necessary to have. There are a few pimples on the face, so we are going to deal with those. These microphones are very loud. You even just move 1 inch to sit properly and it's very noisy. Sorry about that. I'll try mute. I'll try mute them up when I need to move again or reposition something or remove my headphones, because every slight movement, a lot of noise, which is undesirable. Now there is a hedge around her head, a halo. So we are going to paint. Let me undo. Control Z, that's how you undo. Then paint around that halo around her here to perfect the selection. At this point I need very soft brush so that things blend better, so that is a gradual feather around such areas. I've said this before, when you're editing and you realize that there's a problem you've seen somewhere, do not postpone to deal with it later. Try delete with it there and then, because you might also forget and save it with that mistake. You'll see it when the client has already posted the image and it will make you feel very bad. So for the sanity of your brain, sort every problem once you notice it. You notice there's an issue here, deal with it. As soon as you realize that there's an issue. Now let's raise the levels of this. It's also the problem because it's darker, it's creating a very big difference between the background that was and the background that it is. Yes, now that looks good. I don't like this thing around the baby's head, this one, so I'll patch it away. Select the whole bump and on this layer that has the subject and drag it up. It will smoothen. I don't know whether it's just me, but headphones really hurt my head when I'm using them. Do you feel the same irritation? That the line where the headphone passes really feels uncomfortable, and if I remove them I won't even know when my audio is changing. The microphone could go off because it's battery powered and I keep talking. I might even mute and forget that I muted and keep talking because I don't have the headphones to monitor. But again, putting the headphones on, taking away some of the catch lights in the eyes because they are like too many. You can see, to make it to make for a more pleasant edit. That photo is ready. I'm not going to edit it beyond that. Let's create a gradient. of a color orange, radial orange, and then color burn it, color dodge it, push it out. I want to create like a source of light so that it distracts us from whatever else is happening down there. And doing that just merge down exposes a problem right there. So I'm going to make a copy and then patch that part. See, pick all this part and patch it away. Mbele zako Bwana, viumbe vyote vinakutukuza, ni wewe Mesia. It's like sampling even the gradient. Perfect. Then we put on the gradient. Very nice. That will be distracting enough. Let's make a copy, and on that copy we make it magenta purple, I think. Tunainama tunainuka mbele zako Bwana, viumbe vyote vinakutukuza, ni wewe Mesia. You like the peripheral color to be yellow. Ni wewe Mesia. You can see what it's doing to the feet. It's good for that image. Let's push back this one a little, and then maybe back further, but then increase its scale so that its effect is seen more than we see the source. Done. Now the branding. Unainama tunainuka mbele zako Bwana, viumbe vyote vinakutukuza, ni wewe Mesia. Now we export the image after we commit the changes. Then we go to File, Export. I said about converting it to sRGB after editing in Profoto RGB. And here is where you ensure that this is checked, convert to sRGB, embedded color profile, optimized, and then ensure that your quality is 85. That is very high quality. Your images are going to be as sharp as what I showed you earlier. Tunainama tunainuka. We move to the next image. This one doesn't require much, so we'll start with the background. So we make a copy, 2 copies. We rasterize this one, put levels to it, add contrast so that select subject can see what it's doing, can see edges, and then we select subject. We are just going to do this to, you're using this to just for just the selection. Inainama tunainuka mbele zako Bwana, viumbe vyote vinakutukuza, ni wewe Mesia. I'm adjusting the parts of the mask taking away from the areas that were included that should have been excluded, bringing in the areas that were included that should have been excluded, and stuff like that. I think I mixed up things there, but you get the point. Again, our check layer, luminous solid green. Let's see whether there is anything we need to include. Nothing much. Inverse it. Then something we need to exclude. And certainly there is this part. To paint out that part, you need a hard brush. 100% hard. Harder than you can ever be. And the flow and the opacity. Need to be 100%. Harder than the economy, harder than life. 100%. At least life is a little hard, not 100% hard. We still can find something to it. We said that when you're making this selection, include the shadow with the background. So ensure that when you're selecting your subject, they are minus the shadow, so that the shadow is also softened together with the background. Now we're going to do color range, so that we see whether we can include some runaway hairs. Tunainama tunainuka mbele zako Bwana. I'm selecting the white around the head so that we can inverse that selection and now include those hair strands, those runaway hair strands. Viumbe vyote vinakutukuza, ni wewe Mesia. Now the inverse. We need a black brush. Then we paint in those areas. Vyote vinakutukuza, ni wewe Mesia. The eyes and the teeth need whitening. We are coming to do that in a few. Viumbe vyote vinakutukuza. The baby's hair as well. Ni wewe Mesia. Right. That's a good start. The inverse of this, and then hold down on Control, double click, then go to the layer below, switch it off. It looks good, so let's reduce its opacity first, then merge down, and then make a copy and smoothen that background from there. Sorry, we needed to just drag and plus, and then Brian Umos background cleanup, play that action, then expansion of 1 and noise level of 2. Ni wewe Mesia 2. Like that. I don't know what to add to the background, but let me go to my regulars and see what I could find. Vinainama vinainuka mbele zako Bwana, viumbe vyote vinakutukuza. Blend mode, then reduces opacity, yeah, like that. Reframe, put it in a group, hold down Alt, copy the mask, invert the mask, blur it up, around 8 is always enough. Then put a gradient to it, then use the gradient tool and take it away from the bottom like that. Then again, close the group, V6, the color lookup table. Viumbe vyote vinakutukuza. Put it in a group, copy that mask first so that it's restrained to the subject. We'll take it a little back, leak a little of it to the background, reduce its opacity slightly. I'm not sure what it's doing to the dress. Nothing much that we should address. The image looks overly bright, so we either take it back to camera raw for a darkening, or take a brightness contrast level and drop the brightness slider. That would also solve it. Viumbe vyote vinakutukuza, ni wewe Mesia. Now we whiten the teeth. There's just a lot of yellowness, so we can even just pick yellow channel and just whiten it. Then come back and paint that. That's the only thing we need to do for the teeth. We don't need them 100% white, and because it's just a yellow color we are taking, not every other tone of color, now we can paint it as one solid thing. I know I've said many times do not paint it once, but those are different circumstances. There is a part of this dress that has something that we should click off. It's our business to create perfection, at least to the best of our capacity. Also clicking away some pimples from her face using the spot healing brush tool. I still know I'm here to clean the teeth and we are here to go to the baby's face. But like we said earlier, when you see a problem somewhere, do what? Deal with it there and then, because waiting might mean you'll end up saving the photo having not made for that adjustment. And it is sad for you to finally see it when it's already posted or you already sent to your clients that set of images. Tunainama tunainuka mbele zako Bwana, viumbe vyote vinakuabudu, ni wewe Mesia. From next month, I'll find a way to go live in more than one platform. I'll also create an account at Twitch. I've always heard about this platform and I've never been there. And I'll use a software that will allow me to go live. Twitch, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and now I'm on to the baby's face. Twitch, Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube and TikTok. Like 5 accounts at once. At least 4 to the minimum. Then we teach the world, so that the days that I'll be a photographer, I'll have both served the people and taught the next generation how to produce the kind of works I ended up producing. To some of you, what I do could be very usual, could be very normal. But you see, just the way we study history about people who did very simple things like seeing a false and saying this one, I'll call it by my name, call it Thompson's false, as though there were no people living there who saw that false. The people will also be using our works to study photography. Someday we are going to be the ancestors. Think about it. Someday I'll copy this part and mask and clone it, So I'll use clone tool right above everything. Alt, sample a part up here, then come and paint it. I'll just paint a large area, then I'll use warp tool to Control T, warp, to move it the right direction. Someday we are going to be the ancestors and people who also made our contribution to photography. People are going to study our works, wonder, looking at a photo like this, like, how many lights do you think Stanley Mitch used to shoot this photo? What evidence do you have to say that he used 3 lights? No, I looked at the catch light. I looked at the reflection at the lips. I also looked at, like that. Yeah, we leave everything else the way it is. I'm happy with what the image looks like. Just the colors. We need to use reds and then make the skin rich, the tones of the skin richer. I've moved these sliders too many times that I know what they do, but it's hard to explain how much. How much do I move the blacks? How much do I move the yellows? I don't know. I'll find a clever way of explaining, but for now, just do what I did. It will always get you where I am. Yes, you'll wonder why when I get there, I even use the red channel and not the gray or the white channel or any other channel. How did I know that red is what I needed to adjust? You do this, it becomes second to nature. You're finishing this in a very fast speed. I love the pace. The computer is also not hanging like it does sometimes. But those times they happen when I have edited 1,000,001 images. Sometimes my computer stays on for like a week. Just I sleep, I wake up and continue editing. And I think that's how it ends up acting up. And you do a simple thing like liquify and it cannot execute it. I need like more hardness on this spot healing brush tool. Make a copy. Select subject. Quick select tool, select subject. Let's use add the luminous green, check layer. I've seen all those issues that you're also seeing, but I want to deal with them at this level through painting. It's also getting late and my head is feeling sleepy, so I'm also trying to get fast. The faster I can finish this, the sooner I can rest for tomorrow. I have few bookings to attend to. I will also have walk-ins as usual. So if I don't rest enough, sometimes I feel like I'm incapable of creating. I feel not creative, I feel dumb. Like a client comes when I'm feeling very sleepy and tired and worn out, demotivated to even serve someone. I know you'll wonder, how do you get demotivated yet they are bringing money? Money is not the only motivation there is to good photography. There is also inspiration, excitement, preparedness, freshness, your own health, mental health. It's not like I suffer with mental health. I'm just mentioning things that I know are necessary. Like if you argued with your caretaker, excuse me for that. If you argued with your caretaker early in the morning, you're not very likely to you're not very likely to be your best version after a client comes in, yet you just stopped arguing about water or electricity or rent, or your sink is leaking and he's not trying to repair it at all, or he's been promising to do maybe the repair for the sink and hasn't shown up yet. They'll meet you in a very bad part emotionally, irritated and all. Trust me, you will not be feeling the level of excitement you would feel if she met you, if a client met you after you just come from home and played with your baby, or kissed your wife goodbye if you have one, or just watched a good match, watched a good movie, so on and so forth. Talking of a good movie, I remember a movie someone recommended for me to watch. Should either watch that before I sleep or fasting when I wake up. Some of you will wonder, why am I working on these areas yet? I'm not like going to replace that flaw with something. But you know, the devil is in the details. The greatness of an image is in the details. Do not be reckless. A small mistake can cost a very good image, or cause a very good image to have a very bad out finishing. Finishing is important together with the real building. I'm not saying that it's important than the building, but I'm saying that together with the building it right, the finishing is equally as important. So this goes into the finishing of the image. It's the reason these photos have been left in my studio for 5 days for me to edit them. You'll wonder why 5 days. They were 30 images. Were they 30? No, 15 plus 13. That is like 38. Let's say over 30. Over 30 images. And you would agree, doing what I am doing now, at this speed that I am doing it, and I'm also the one shooting clients when they come in, I might not finish the edits at the speed that I would if I was just the editor, or finish the shoots as fast as I would if I was only a photographer. That makes me need more days to finish up work like this, because I don't want to just to deliver. I want to deliver a quality of work, let's say a standard of work that I'm happy with, because then quality is very different from standards. It might be a quality image but lacks the taste. It lacks my touch, that thing that makes a common image begin to look like a master image. So I take my time and do a great job. You'll wonder, how do I convince clients to wait for 5 days? I don't. They know what I do. And my only question is very simple. Would you like them to look like the ones you saw in my portfolio? She says yes. I tell her, then it takes me a day to edit 6 images. These ones are 30. So divide by 6. Becomes 5 or more days. Tell her, then that is how long I need to finish your work. Remember, photos are a luxury. They are not an emergency. Nobody is sick. It's not a police case. Deliver them as soon as you can, but also as best quality, as best standard. We said standard, not quality. As best standard that you can, and one that represents you. Someone better carry them raw. as early as when you are just done shooting, than leave them behind and then pace you up with time, wanting them in the next 1 or 2 hours. But again, if you're just starting out and you have that capacity to edit as soon as you finish, why not? Maybe you don't even change your backgrounds, you just smoothen the background and send the images. Maybe you just smoothen the skin and send the images. Maybe you just increase saturation of your images and send the images. Whatever it is, you do what works for your business. Just ensure that once you've sent an image, that image will do two things. One, it will make that client you served come back, and it will also make them your agents to advertise you out there. They will recommend you highly without necessarily telling anyone, but by posting your image, the image itself will call you, will call all clients for you. They'll tell them that you are the plug. If the image doesn't do that for you, then what are you doing? It's not worth delivering until you're sure that the image you're about to give has the standard, the mark of quality that will make a client come back. I know you understand. If you don't worry. You're not the only one who doesn't. But the day you begin to deliver quality work, and when you become highly recommended, people will say, I saw your photo with my friend. I saw photos you shot of my friend, and I decided I'll come also to get similar. Then you will know you finally began to deliver compelling work that nobody can tunya you. Because good work begets more work. But if you begin to become careless with your deliverables, you deliver quickly just to finish because you've been paid, trust me, you won't get paid for long. Your clients will discover us. They'll discover we do more than you are willing to. Maybe at the same cost or at 100 shillings more. Because I noticed that most of you out here are charging 200 per photo. I've never charged that all my life. Not because I couldn't, but because I didn't. So just understand, I never did charge that all my life. I don't like the background. I'm going to change it. What was I saying? Yes, your clients will realize that you they will realize that you don't do enough and others are, and by others I mean me. Because they are willing to pay, but you are unwilling to do more. So they are wondering, why then should they keep coming to you to offer them the same thing you offered them in 2019? You don't even improve your work. And improve just means different, doesn't mean better. Sometimes people get tired of seeing the same thing over and over again. No, I like that background. It's pretty. A lot pretty. You don't have to agree. It is pretty. Whether you agree or not, that background is pretty. Sometimes I add just something in the background, not to make it busy, not even to make it prettier, but just to add an element. I dislike plain backgrounds in my photos. I see people shooting and leaving the backgrounds plain, and their photos look beautiful. But every time I try it on mine, they look so plain, effortless. This skin requires a little more contrast, so I'll go to neutrals and introduce that contrast there, and then take it away from the baby's face. You see, that thing, you knowing in which channel you find what, is a thing you know when you practice a lot. You realize this time round I did not use reds. You keep practicing, keep watching my channel, keep learning, keep practicing. It is very useless to just listen and watch and think, that's easy, I can also click that thing away. Don't just stop at that. It's okay to think that, but also don't stop at that. Also, pick a mouse and click it away literally in more than one image until it sticks to your brain, that every time you see it, your eyes naturally goes to that tool and you know exactly how much opacity or whatever other metrics you need. It's not alcohol. I take a lot of water, mostly a jug and a half or more. When I begin to take water while editing, I take a jug of water or more. It has to be water or tea or a lot or both. Now 3 more images, then we call this a night. So select subject. There is good contrast in this image. Photoshop should be able to see the edges. Luminous green again. Again, we agreed I'm using luminous green because it helps me see what has been left out easily. Select the mask. White brush that is also 100% hard. Then paint. 100% flow, 100% opacity, 100% fill, 100% opacity again. Yeah, I don't know what's the difference between this and that. I'll watch and mesh Dinda channel, Pix Imperfect. He must have explained that somewhere. There was not born learning. Having learned Photoshop, I also learned it from some of those great teachers. I'll go check whether there is a video from him. He's a very good teacher. A video on of him teaching between the difference between opacity and fill. Then once I learn, I'll come back and teach you, or rather teach you how to incorporate it in your workflows, because he might teach it and not tell you how to incorporate it in your workflows, because he also serves a different demographic. But then we might be serving the same demographic, so you learn from me, you learn exactly something, a skill you could use even at your place. By your place, I mean your studio. And your clients will love it, because something loved in Kino is very likely to be loved by people in Kangemi, because the desires of people around a certain area are the same, mostly. Even the choice of fashion and taste, preferences, still the same. I'm making a selection, having switched off so that I can see what I'm doing. You see, you combine very many tactics when you're doing just one image. I want to add a balloon. There's a balloon I saw here. Or I take it away. Must I add it? I'll take it away. I'll patch it off. So let's deal with everything else. Like I've seen them when they are teaching retouch, they teach retouch using just the face. And some photographers might take that up and think that when you are retouching somebody's skin, you only retouch the face and ignore the rest of the body. Because the tutorials you've watched, all of them only taught retouch and stopped at retouching the skin that is available on the face. Inverse. Maybe because they were sure that almost always the face will be uncovered. And when I say almost always, I remember the time of corona we used masks, so part of the faces were covered. So it's not always that we uncover our faces. Sometimes we cover them. The Muslims, they are women. Women of Muslim faith, they also cover their faces, even their daughters. So again, in those cases, you all have eyes to shoot. You cannot pause her to show the curves. The bui, the robe they put on is very wide. It doesn't even show any curves. You do not tell her to change her facial expressions. Her face is also covered using a hijab. By the way, how do you then take a photo of a Muslim who has covered their face with a hijab? They have also added a bui on top of their whole body. After putting on the normal clothes, they added a bui also. But the only thing visible is the eyes. How do you then post them in a manner that it's visible? Except now you move hands around, because that's the only thing you're left to pose. What else do you pose? What else? How else do you pose? I'll post that question in my community session. See what photographers come up with when a person of Muslim faith has visited them. It's like somebody is wearing a graduation gown for clothes, for an attire, for a dress code. Hiyo ndo look. And then you're supposed to post them in a manner that shows curves. The challenge there, man. Strange. Let's make a copy of this background, rasterize it. We patch this part, this balloon. I'm pushing it in bits because I don't want it to sample areas that are too far from the area that I'm trying to even out. I'm also going to make oh my goodness, Meganda, feeling numb. Said I'll be muting this microphone just a minute. For this image, we're also going to create a reflection of the two. But before that, inverse this mask. Control D, inverse this mask. I don't know what I'm doing. Inverse this mask. Load it up and then smoothen the background. Let's start there first. We first clear the environment. That is our responsibility. Two. Again, load that and then duplicate. Control J, Control T, then inverse, flip vertical, drag it down. We're trying to create a reflection of this image. We are not even trying, we are making the reflection. Now I'm holding down on control so that I can warp it anyhow I like. Maybe the word there is distort. Yes, then I'll pull this up so that it lays flat on the floor, because that is how reflections work. Trying to get the perspective right. Perfect. And then I put it in a group, copy the mask, inverse the mask, Control I, and then reduce the opacity of that layer. Enough for it to look like a real reflection, but it should be stronger where they are and weaker where they are far away. So I'll push it in, then add a mask to it, to that layer, add a mask, then use gradient and pull it down from an area, and then bring down the density, double click, then bring back some, so that when it's nearer here it's less reflected than it is where it's at the beginning, because reflections are very strong where the contact is. You will learn that the more you edit. The more you edit, the more you know what to expect, and the more you shoot, because you're also going to shoot real reflections in people's images. Right, background now. That is good. Then blend mode, then lower opacity, somewhere there again another gradient, and then pull it down like this. It will disappear very well to the background and the two will merge in. But because there's a baby, let's use something babyish. Babyish. This is babyish enough. Raise it up, blend mode, multiply. Okay, let's try those others. Yeah, soft light is best. Push it up so that it looks like it was shot from a low angle. Perspective is very important in photography. Mask, and then pull to the point where I want it to begin to disappear. Then I'll blur it up slightly because I don't want it very sharp, to about 8. I think 8, 7 is enough, like that, and then reduce its opacity slightly, like that. That would be good enough. Again, if you are reflecting things on the ground, you should have everything reflected. So we'll make a copy of that, Control J, then Control T, and then on top of that, then flip vertical, sorry, like that. Bring it down, take it below the reflection of the person, reduce its opacity. We need to keep some of that reflection in there, because again, it's not possible that we have a floor that reflects the people but doesn't reflect the wall. If there was a mirror here or a perspective, it would reflect both the people and that wall. Right, now we'll make this selection, holding down on Control, double click it and take it away from this background. So put it in another group and alt it. That way it won't pass across. Let me show you. Let me zoom. I know what it's doing, but let me show you. When it's not there, you can see that background we reflected is passing in front of a hand. That is not how reflections work. It should be behind, so you're like pushing it behind that hand. That's why. Now the image is ready. Let's add a color lookup, the usual V6. Should try another color lookup. I like that one too much. The way I have many, but I end up using just one. This is preference, too much preference. Yeah, like that. I need to whiten these eyes. I think they have too much yellowing, so I'll sample that, take it up, and then add a plus and click other colors around that area that are also contaminating the eye. Inverse it, Control I, and then come with a small brush and paint inside the eye. Let me use Alt and right button and then push it to the left so that the mask reduces, the size of the brush reduces gradually. Yeah, those are better eyes now. Let's feather it up. Take away some spots from the face. Anything that needs clicking away, even if it's on the dress, you just click it away. It's at this point where you click away everything. The skin would do better with some contrast. So I'll load the mask and then add on the gray area, push in just that contrasts, the blacks. That will make the skin look much more colorful. You see, it looks very good on the face. Now I'll put it in another group, inverse it with the mask, come with a brush and paint it in. It looks washed out. That's what I'm trying to deal with here. I don't want that washed out look. I like rich colors and tones for skin. Then bring back some density to that. Now let's go back and continue. Now you realize that it's much contrast here and the skin has richer colors. The face has saliva all over the place. See, such problem solving is what a client will come to you for, because their iPhone can take a photo of the baby with a lot of struggle, because again, babies don't obey mothers. They just want to cry and do things and play. But also iPhone, the newest technology is taking away other people that show up in your image, but it cannot take away tears from a baby's eyes. Rather, there is no known slider for taking away tears. Even in Evoto AI doesn't have a tears removal slider. Let's also do a little on this knee. Let's try a flow of about, yeah, so that it doesn't look too flat. Perfect. Reduce its opacity slightly. Good. Export. Two more images. This one requires the same thing we did in that other image for the skin and the tones. That for this one, you're going to do a beautiful snout and we'll be done. So select subject, luminous green, check layer. We go in and perfect that mask. I know some parts of the shot have the same luminosity value as the background. That is why Photoshop, I need 100% opacity and flow and 100% hardness. That's why Photoshop could not tell them apart between the shot part, the part that is a shot, and the part that is the baby, the wall, sorry. even socks have the same luminosity value with some of the background. To make this easy, you can always shoot with a background that is completely different. Like if it were a color like red or yellow, it would be very different from, or purple. It will be very different from what they are wearing and what their skin tone is like. So the selections would also be very easy to make. The problem is, just picking a color that makes it different for you to edit doesn't always result to a great compelling image. So be careful to not try make things easy for you and then you end up with just boring, tired images that have no traction at all, unless that's what you want. Of course, if that's what you want, go ahead, knock yourself out literally. But if that's not what you want, try and tailor make your edits. Shoot with pure whites. I used to hate white backgrounds, maybe because I didn't know how to use it or I did not own it. And for like 3 years, I never shot with anything on white except passports. But I like the purity it brings, the clarity there is. The contrast, especially if someone is wearing something darker. The godliness, the purity if someone is wearing something equally as white as your background. The professionalism it brings, especially if you manage to shoot someone who is wearing white in front of your white background and the two whites don't like blend in and look like one and the same thing. That person thinks, oh, I see. Even sunglasses, not glasses, spectacles. When people come with specs at your studio to shoot, they've gone to many other studios before and there were light reflections inside their photos. Inside their spectacles, the specs reflected the lights that the photographer was using. Sometimes they come to you hoping that you might have a tactic that will help you not give them the same result another photographer did. Now, if you manage to do that, shoot a photo, not ask them to remove the spectacles, but still manage to get them the photo they desire without those reflections that another photographer failed to address, you have yourself a long-term client. Every time they want a photo, they'll always consider you because they know you have the tactic that doesn't require them to remove their spectacles. And you know, most people who do specs, they like, it's because of the harsh rays of the lights. It affects the eyes and your studio flashes are very strong. So when you ask them to remove their specs for the shoot, it hurts them than help them. So if you're a kind of photographer that can still shoot them with their specs and still give them good results without using, sorry, I should have switched off that check layer. Without asking them to take off their specs, so they are comfortable the whole time, but you still get them photos that don't have those reflections. Trust me, they won't forget you. You have yourself a long-lasting client. And because I already know that it's always a problem for clients to try to have a photo that doesn't have those reflections. When I'm shooting one when I'm setting my lights, I'm always explaining, I'm doing this so that your eyes do not reflect my lights. That's why I'm switching off this light. That's why I'm pushing on this one. That's why I'm reducing the intensity of that one. They understand, so that they are also aware that you're also aware that they have that as a fear. And just like that, you win yourself a forever lasting client. I said we are going to use a snoot. I was not like playing. Now we blight a little because we want a little distance between the people and the wall, the shadow. Not 200, we don't want it to disappear, but a little of it is good. I don't like it, so we are going to change that snoot for another type of background. When you're an editor, you are not stuck. Keep trying to create a compelling image, even if it means changing the background 10 times. I'm not justifying my work or what I am doing. I'm just telling you the client will only care that the results were great, not how many times you changed what. Only export a photo when you're happy with it. Even if you dwell on it for 40 minutes and another one for 10 minutes. Just let's try a different snoot. My mind still desires a snoot. La 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 la. Let's use this one. So we'll open it from here. Select everything that's white. Let's increase the fuzziness. La 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 la. Curves. Then bring them to the image. La 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 la. We all need love. Perfect. Let's blur it up by feathering it like that. Reduce its opacity. It's pretty. Now I'm happy. Again, the color lookup. Hallelujah. It's 2, man. It's 2 a.m. I'm about to sleep 3 hours and then wake up and work again. Now you understand why. We charge how much we charge, because we're also sacrificing for our clients. And sacrifice requires compensation, proper compensation. This photo did not have branding. I came here to get branding and realize in that photo there is no branding. Santa Maria. So I'll resave it again with branding because I own up my work. La 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 la. I don't know why that explorer thing keeps shifting from where it's supposed to be. It's supposed to be off screen, not on this screen. So what's that? So I'll zoom in and find out whether skin is clean, so that if it's not, I'll select the layer that has the subject and click those small things away. La 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 la. You realize that girls have so many insecurities that you might dismiss a pimple because you think it's insignificant, but a client won't. That's the first thing they'll see. They won't see your beautiful backgrounds. They will not see your concepts. They will not see the story you are trying to tell, the relationship, the bond with their child. They'll see just a pimple. From a kilometer, she'll say, oh my goodness. See those pimples also on my face. She'll zoom on a nail that has artificial nails that are broken, and he'll notice it. So instead of her seeing it later to tell you to change it for her, why don't you just see it early, so that by the time you send them ready for consumption. That even if you don't do anything tomorrow, then what you did yesterday does not require correction. You can only be corrected when you're doing, you should only be corrected when you're doing, what is that thing? I want to color the eyes a little, so I'll do another selective color and then darken things further, just for the eyes and the mouth, just to intensify that makeup. I load the mask so that it stops me from painting outside. Heri ni yule aliye na Yesu, afadhali Yesu. The hair light is doing very well in this image. I export it. Now we do the last image and call it a night. Hey, inachosha. It's very draining. Right, last image. You're going to look for another photo of this baby and use it as double exposure image, and that's all we are going to do. We're not going to add another background unless if I change my mind, but for now that is the thought I have. Select the area, rasterize, then content aware fill. You're going to look for a photo from the ones we edited. Afadhali Yesu, afadhali aliye na Yesu. We need a happy face together with the fact that we are looking for a face. We need a very happy one. These are the faces we edited, so I think either this or this, so we'll use this one. So we'll import it shortly. Then drag and drop it. Afadhali Yesu, Control D. Multiply to blend in. I want a large face of the baby. Now that we cannot see much of him in this image, that he is laughing and lifted, so that we see more of him on the background instead. Reduce opacity. Perfect. Nice. Now let's continue with our edit. We are going to revisit just that which we've done. So select subject so that we smoothen the background, and then we do a color lookup, a little retouch, spot healing, and we call it a night. For anyone who thinks this thing is easy, it is. You're very right. It's very easy. You just sit the whole time and you're working with just a click of a mouse, just one finger. How can you get tired when you're just using one finger? See how stupid the body is. It gets tired even when you're just using a finger, seated down all day. It's like a mockery to people who do heavy lifting of luggages, pushing off logs at a sawmill. To tell them that how tiring your work is, yet you only lift a finger. Just one pointer finger of your right hand to click a mouse. And you want to tell us how drained you are. Even our wives don't understand us. How do you tell a wife you are busy up to 2 in the night editing? Like you could not just use that one finger, click a few photos away and go home. Like you took over 18 hours just using one finger to edit, and you couldn't finish even. You also had, even after you've gone home late, it's not like you had completed what you were doing. It got to a time you felt tired for using one finger. Now you're very weary. You want to just sleep. You can't even have her. You can't even watch a movie together. You don't even want to hear how her day was. Marriage is difficult for photographers. Just like everything else is. Mbona wewo? It's very hard. Now we put it back on. Put it in a group. Copy the mask. Add a mask to it. And then gradient. Kasongo we obali nangai. Trying to take away. It's cutting off too strong. Yeah, that's good enough. A very beautiful combination of 2 images, so that if we cannot see his face here, we'll see him right there. Kasongo ye obali nangai. Songo bana weo. I want to add a color lookup, but I don't want it to touch the background, so gosh, feeling tired of sitting down. But it's worth it. This one photo shoot paid my rent in 1 day. Actually a matter of hours. So you see, everything else I'm going to make this month will just be profit, because my bills are cleared by one photo shoot. So you see, it's worth sitting down for up to 2. solving the problem that solved my problems. Do not be afraid of working, especially if you're a man. Love your work. Love what you can build with your hands. Give it your all. When you have been divorced and left, when you have everybody else you used to love as an ex, your job is all you'll have left. And even when you're not left, still, your job is all you'll have, because what will they be eating? You'll be feeding your family from off it. It will buy you the cars you desire. What if that background photo was black and white? Let's try desaturate it. See whether it will make for a stronger image. Yes, it becomes less distracting. So we leave it as desaturated as that. Some pimples we could see in other photos are almost invisible in this, just because of lighting, the angle where that light hits a face. Let's take a screenshot of everything. Trying to retouch things I cannot even see what I'm doing. Now fatigue is catching up. Guys, thank you for being here. The only thing that is left is for me to show you before and afters of the images that we've edited tonight, and then we say adios. So let me first save this one, then show you a few befores and afters, and then I take my rest, because I'm going to need it to have a clear head tomorrow when I'm serving tomorrow's clients. Maybe if what I'm taking was alcohol or whatever other thing, my mind would be more alert. If it was Jabba, mind would be more alert. But imagine talking to a microphone and having Jabba in your mouth. How bad of an experience are you giving the people that are... This image now looks a little too dark, so I'll reduce the effect of that brightness layer and export again. Remember, if the skin is the same, let's reduce it a little further. A little brighter would do there. Let's export that again. Now I realize that the skin tone for this image is not the same as this, and that can be adjusted in the reds. A little warmth like that would just make that photo look more or less, more like the other one, not more or less, but more like the other one. Even the water is not helping with keeping me awake. Feel like sleepy than ever. When I'm doing this last collection of images, that's when I proof check to see that my images look like they should, that the skin tones, brightness, and all other factors are very well considered. Now let me show you before and after. That is 87, 83. Yeah, this is the raw, and that is the edited one. The other one is 88, 96. Mm-hmm. 88, 90, 95, 96. And this is it. I don't know how to display this. The image is slightly large. Try reduce its size and see whether we can fit them both. Yeah, that is the before, and the after. The other one is 8764. Before and after. 8672. There it is, before and after. The other one is 8690. This might be the one with the most transformation ever. Amongst them all. There it is, before and after. Is there any other? Yes. 86, 98. And here it is, before and after. And lastly, 86, 59, 86, 59, that, and this is the before, this is the after. I suppose that we have all learned. I would like to see you implement some of the things that you've learned in this course in your images. When you do, tag me in all social media platform. The name is Mastech Photo Studio. If there is any action or color lookup or background that I've used that you'll be interested in, just pick my number from the title of this video and hit my inbox and let's talk about it. With that, have a good night wherever you are. If it's not night where you are, it will be night later today. So still, have a good night. Thank you for being here. Thank you for your support. Hit subscribe if you haven't yet. Hit like so that this video can reach more photographers and more can come here and benefit. Right. Till the